Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we will learn how we can use PowerFX low-code language in Power Automate desktop flow. So please watch this video till the end so that you can understand it completely. And if you have not subscribed my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe it. So let's get started. To create a desktop flow where you can use PowerFX low-code language, what you have to do is you have to click on New Flow and then you need to specify the flow name. So I'll give the flow name as PowerFX Desktop Flow, and just right below you can see that it has an option for you to enable, which is PowerFX enabled. Here it tells that PowerFX is a Power Platform's official language and it is open source, inspired by Excel formulas, and has simplicity and ease of use as its core values. Okay, so this is the language which is currently being used in Power Apps. Same way or same functions or PowerFX you can also use in Power Automate Desktop. Currently, not all the functions are available to use in desktop flow, but there are plenty of PowerFX functions which can be used in Power Automate desktop flow. So now I will click on create. After clicking on create, you can see that your desktop flow has a notification which says PowerFX is enabled for this flow, which means now you can use the PowerFX functions in this desktop flow. So first of all, let's understand how do we create a variable. Here also you can use set variable action to create a variable, but here we do not use the percentage sign while creating the variable. Okay, so it is just the variable name, and variable names are case sensitive. I will name this variable as first name, and the value which I will assign to this variable is James. I will click on save. Now let's say if you want to assign a blank value to your variable, for that what you have to do is you have to use equals to, and you can use the blank function. So the value which will be assigned to the new variable will be blank. As you can see, there is no value. Similarly, if you want to assign an empty or blank value, you can also use equals to and double quotes. You can see it is blank. If you want to check whether new variable is having any value, you can use the if conditional block, and here you can specify equals to is blank, and here you can specify your variable which is new var. Now click on save. Now I will go to message boxes. From here I will drag the display message box, and here I'll write variable new var is empty. I will enable this option to keep the message box always on top, and then I will click on save. So if the value is blank, then only it will execute this action number 4. I will run the flow. You can see it has displays the message. Now if I want to use the blank function, it will have the same result. So let's create one more variable so that we can use logical operator in this if block. So I will use set variable, and here I'll assign the value as 1, 2, 3. Now what I want to do is I just want to check if new array is blank, or so you can use double pipe symbol for or operator and say is blank, and we can specify the variable name which is new var2. So what we want to say here is that either new var is blank or new var2 is blank, then execute this line of code. I will run the bot. You can see it has executed the line number 5. Now let's assign some value to new var, which is 345. We will test the bot. Now you can see it did not execute the line number 5 because both the variables are having some values. Okay, so this is how you can use logical operator in this if block. I will delete these actions. Now I would like to show some string functions. Let's say you want to use the replace function. For that, first of all, you need to specify the equals to sign the way you use equals to sign in Microsoft Excel before writing the formula. And then I will write replace. In this, I want to specify the value from which I want to replace. The next parameter that replace function accepts is the position from where you want to start the replacement of the characters or the words. So I'll specify 1. So index is always going to start from 1 in PowerFX. Now we want to know how many characters we want to replace. So we will specify 2, and then we need to specify what will be the character that we want to change it. So let's say T. I will click on save. Now I will run the flow. You can see it has replaced the James, the character J it has replaced, and also A with T, right? Let's say you want to use the split function here. So I will use split. I will remove these parameters. So a split function first uses the input, so which is James, and then we need to specify, we want to specify the separator, so which is blank, and from this what I want to do is I want to get the first value. I will click on save. Now I will run the flow. You can see we have got James. If you want to get the value of it, you can just specify dot value, because here you can see to be able to access this value we need to use this key. I will click on run. Here you can see that we have got the James. If you want to use the last function, which will give you the last item from the list. So I will click on save and then run the flow. You have got the last value from the list. Let's say you want to access the values based on the index, right? So what you can do is you can just use equals to sign and index. You can remove this dot value, and your index function accept the second parameter as the index from the list, right? So once you will use the split function, it will split this text based on the space, and that value will be available in the list, and then we can use the index function to get the value based on the index. Let's say if I want to get the first value from the list, I will specify 1 and click on save and run the bot. Here you can see that you have got the James. The data type of first name is custom object, and now if you want to get the value, similarly you can use dot value. As you can see, here it has displayed the value from based on the index. If you want to get the item from the second index position, you can specify 2 and run the bot. You will see that it will return the Anderson, which is on the second index position. In this, if you want to use the trim function, which is used to remove the spaces before and after the string, so you can use trim with the parenthesis. Inside that you can paste your formula, click on save, run the flow. If your string has any space, then it will remove it, right? If you want to create any table, let's say TBL employee, you can use same equals to sign, then you can use table function. Inside that you can create record the way we specify in the Power Apps. So you can use this curly bracket. Here you can specify the key, which is ID 101. Then you can specify second key, which is first name, and we'll specify the value as James. You can just copy this, specify the comma after the curly bracket to create second record. First name is Peter for the second record, and the value is 102, and then click on save and then run the flow. As you can see, it says that it is a list of custom objects, and inside that you have 2 records, correct? You can go to loops, use for each, specify TBL employee, click on save, go to message boxes, use display message, and here you can display your current item. Enable this option to keep the message box always on top and click on save. Run the flow. Now we have got first name James, ID is 101. If you want to get the specific value, you can just specify the key, which is current item dot id, and then click on save and run the flow. Now you will just see the IDs of those records. If you want to see the first name, so just specify current item dot first name, save and run the flow. You will see the first names of those records. If you want to access this value based on the index, you can use set variable, specify the equals to sign, then specify index. From here you need to specify your table, which is tbl employee, and from here I need to specify the index. Then I'll put a breakpoint here so that it stops right after executing the line number 2. To specify the breakpoint, you just need to press the left mouse click. This red icon will appear. Run the bot. You can see we have this value, and now what we can do is we can just specify dot id to get the value, and if you want to get the first name, you can just specify first name. You can see here we have this James. If you want to just create a record, you can say variable name as employee record, and here you can come and say equals to curly bracket first name James and country colon the name of the country. Click on save. Disable these actions and sees that first name where ident is expected, so I can remove this double quotes from the keys and then click on save. I will click on run. You can see that now we have country as USA and first name is James. To access the value from this employee record variable, you can use set variable again, and here you can say employee record dot, you can specify country if you want to access the country, and run the flow. You will see that new var will have the name of the country, and similarly if you want to get the first name, you can say first name, and then you will have the first name from this record, as you can see here. If you want to create a list of numeric values, you can just say equals to square bracket, and inside that you can specify the list of numbers. Click on save and run the flow. As you can see, we have list of custom objects, and for each value we have a key which is named as value. If you want to access these values, you can use another set variable function. You can give the name of the variable, and let's say if you want to access it based on the index, you can use equals to index and the name of the list. In my case it is employee record, comma 2, and we will close the bracket, and then we will use value, which is the name of the key. If I run this bot, you will see that it is showing as 45, right? And here you see that it is on the second index position, as we know that in PowerFX index starts from 1. Okay, similarly, if I want to display it in a loop, I can just come here and change the name of the variable, which is employee record, and I will just select these actions and enable it, and here I'll come and make it as current item dot value. I will remove the breakpoint and run the flow. As you can see, it is able to access all the values from the list. If you like this video, please click on the like button and please subscribe my YouTube channel, and if you have any question, please post it in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.